Hey, and we're back. My name is Abidemi Sanusi, and I'm an author and founder of Ready Writer, where I coach and help people how to write better, make more, and build their author brand. And today I'm going to share with you um, about writing with confidence. How to start writing with confidence. A lot of people, when they first start out on this writing journey, I think it's the fear of failure that basically holds them back. One of the things they do is essentially they compare themselves to others who are much further in their journey, which for me is actually a little bit crazy. It's more than crazy because it's like me waking up tomorrow morning or waking up this morning and telling myself I'm going to be a space scientist. I don't know if there's such a thing, but anyway, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be a space scientist and then comparing myself to other established space scientists. Essentially, you are comparing yourself as authors, as a yet to be published author. I like doing that. Um, what you are doing, you are comparing your year zero if you're just starting from scratch, or maybe you've been at this writing stuff for a long time, but you've never actually gained any traction because you've suffered from, um, you know, confidence. You're not really confident in your writing skills. That's fine. So I'm just going to say, like a catch-all phrase, you're comparing your year zero to other people who've been there. You've been, writing and publishing for 10, 15, 20 years. And that's not a good way to basically start any kind of writing career or business or author business. That's not the way you should be. So today, what I'm going to talk to you about is how to start writing. Number one, the fear of starting is a really, really big thing. So I see and I work with so many people. By the way, I've been at this for quite some time, about 15, 20 years, and I've written 10 books myself. I have two pen names, the third in development. I'm self-published and traditionally published. And in my corporate life, I'm also a content strategist and digital hack. But we can come to that later. So suffice to say, I've been doing this writing and publishing thing for a long time. So I'm coming at you from a kind of skills experience and also from life experience and writing and publishing experience. So I've been doing this for a long time. So that's by the by. The fear of starting, how to silence, what I'm going to share with you. One of the kind of the fear of starting. So, in terms of starting to write, how to start writing with confidence, the fear, a lot of people have an idea for a book in their heads. They would like to write, they would like to publish a book, but they don't know how to go about it. And that's okay because if you're new to something, you're not expected to know everything there is to know about that process. And when they do start, maybe they kind of write, chapter one, you're feeling really good about yourself. Oh my God, it's chapter one. And then they write the first sentence, the first paragraph. And what usually happens, okay, is some kind of paralysis happens. And then you find yourself unable to proceed on to paragraph two or the next page. And then you get stuck in that thing of, I don't even know if I'm doing this right. That's okay. This is not good. This is really rubbish. This is really rubbish. And I call that actually, this is the imposter syndrome kind of working. And sometimes it works in your favor and sometimes it doesn't. But I'm going to come to that in just a little bit. So the fear of starting, that's a big thing, and also the fear of continuing. So what I'm going to share with you, I'm going to help you share with you how to overcome the fear and confusion about starting your book. So the first thing is your why. Okay, if you're struggling with self-confidence, if you're battling this imposter syndrome in terms of your book, you've got this idea for a book. You may have had this idea for 10 years, for 5 years, for 1 month, for 20 years. It doesn't matter. But either which way, you have not progressed. Okay, you're still stuck on paragraph one, sentence one, chapter one. For whatever reason, you just can't seem to move ahead. And that's okay. So, what I'm going to suggest to you is here's what I'm going to share with you. When that happens, this is why I say to people, your why matters. Okay, your reason for writing the book matters because in those moments, in those days and hours when you're writing and you're not quite sure what it is that you're doing and you're hit with this crippling lack of confidence, you don't know if what you're doing is the right thing, your why is going to be what is going to help you to actually progress. So this is why I say it's important. When I was writing my book Eyo, EYO, which went on to be nominated for a really fancy literary award. Um, my reason for writing that book was quite simple. I'd been a human rights worker for almost 5 years. At the end of the 4.5 years, I was done. Done. I was done. Okay. I specialize in gender and conflict in West Africa. So I was really jaded and burnt out. However, I didn't just want to leave. Okay. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to, I didn't want to leave. And I wanted to leave a legacy of some sort, okay, of of my time in that world of being a human rights worker. And I wanted to do good. Yes, I know I wanted to do good. And the only thing that I had, my arsenal, was writing books, okay? So then I decided to write a book about the trafficking of African children from Nigeria in West Africa to the UK. And I used case studies of people that come that I'd witnessed, that I'd seen, and also I had a couple of friends who were working in the social services in the UK, and I used those case studies as my inspiration for the central character, Eyo. And really, what I wanted to do was to raise awareness of these twin issues of the trafficking of African children to the UK, and also raise awareness of child sex slavery in the UK. So this book, Eyo, EYO, was my way of basically doing that. It was my why. So when the writing got difficult, and it did. When the writing got difficult, when I got tired and I just wanted to be done with it, I would always go back to my why, my reasons for writing the book. Okay. And really, that was what actually helped me to get to the end. So for you, you need to interrogate and ask yourself your reason for writing the book. Is it for fame? Is it for money? Is it, do you just want to see your name on the front cover of a book? And if you do, that's okay. If it's a vanity thing for you, it's fine. I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying that whatever your why is, okay, it needs to be strong enough. Okay, you need to have a strong why, because when it gets tough, when it gets hard, that is what will help you get to the finish line, the end. Now, for some people, their why is not strong enough. Okay, their why is not strong enough. Their why is not strong enough. I've had so many people tell me, oh, I wish I had the time to write, blah, 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 blah. And when people say that to me, it's like they think that writers have 25 hours a day, where the reality of the fact is, where the reality of the matter is, probably like 99.9% of authors, people who write books, they have 9 to 5s. They have responsibilities, okay? They have 9 to 5s. They have responsibilities, whether there's family or whatever that they do. And in between, in the midst of life, they carve out the time to write their book. So when somebody says to me, oh, I wish I could write, I wish I had the time to write, I think it's this idea they have, that writers have, this infinite amount of time, and we're all just like be romantic and just basically writing these words. No, that's not true. Most people that I know, most authors that I know, 99, and which basically represents about 99.9% of, you know, people that write books in the industry, they write while doing life. Okay, so they write while doing life. So, which is why I said your why. So, if you're the kind of person that you're saying to yourself, if only I had more time, I would write. If only, if only, if only. Listen, if you have a strong why, okay, the if onlys will not come into play. That's all I'm saying. Right. And then you also need to understand, you need to believe in the value. So, that's one thing, okay? How to start writing with confidence. Think about your why. Okay, your why is what's going to help you get to the finish line when it gets hard, when it gets strong, when that voice in your head tells you it's not good enough. You can go back to the voice and say, listen, I'm writing a book about my family. I'm writing a book about my grandmother. I'm writing a book that's going to help people. I'm writing a book for my own personal satisfaction because excuse me, because I love writing. Whatever your why is, it needs to be strong enough basically to ground you and hold you steady and help you get to the finish line. Okay, that's number one. Number two, in terms of how to start writing with confidence, you need to also own and understand the power and value of your book idea. I know that 50 million books are published on Amazon a day. Yes, they may not be 50 million, but I know that a lot is published on Amazon a day. And you're wondering, if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, in the midst of all this, where it's so easy for anybody to wake up in the morning and say to themselves, oh, I'm going to write a book. And then they write a PDF or probably use AI to generate a 500-word epistle, and then upload it to Amazon, and then say, there you go. I'm an author now. And then they start running online courses saying, oh, yeah, me too, I'm published. You don't need to compare yourselves to those types of people, okay? You need to own and understand the value of your book idea. Here's the way that I basically say, nobody can write your book the way that you can, because you're the only person in the world with your own unique writing voice and style. Every single person has a unique writing voice and style. And perhaps you have not discovered yours yet, okay? And it's your unique and vibrant imagination and creativity. That's what you bring to the table. That is what, and the way that you approach, the way that you write your book, that's what's going to help you stand out in the market. And the other example I like to use, if you think about dating shows, okay, Love is Blind, The Bachelorette, Ever After, whatever the dating show is, it's all built on the premise of everlasting love. You're going to find this person. Um, the shows, the idea is to go on the show and you meet your forever person. Now, the execution of those shows, they're very, very different, but the premise is the same. So, and the reason I mentioned this, the premise is you're going to meet, find your everlasting partner or whatever that person is. You're going to find true love. And the same thing when it comes to a book idea. I always say to people, if you put 10,000 people in a room and you give them one book idea, the same book idea, they're going to come at it. You're going to have 10,000 different ways of of executing that book. So if your battle, if your challenges, your worry, if you're with regards to your writing, if what is holding you back is the thought and the fear that nobody is going to be interested in your book idea, I hope that this actually helps you. Okay? You're the only person in the world who can write your book the way that you can. Okay? Everybody has something unique about them. That's what they bring to the table. So your unique writing voice, your writing style, everything that's so special and unique about you, that's what you bring to the table, and that's what you're going to use basically to bring your book idea to life. Even if somebody else has the same idea as you in terms of the book idea, they're not going to write it the same way that you are, okay? And that's the beauty of being a writer. That's the beauty of the writing and publishing industry. So if the fear, okay, of if the fear with what is holding you back from writing your book is the fear that your book is not original enough, that you're terrified that your book is not going to do well in the midst of all the dross that's being published today. I hope this basically puts your mind at ease. Now, the third thing is, in terms of turning ideas into a plan, I, by nature, am quite analytical. This is just a quick story. So I've been featured on Forbes, okay, Forbes, and the I've been featured on Forbes, and the reporter, when he met me, was a virtual interview. I always remember what he told me. He said, Abidemi, you are the most analytical and creative person I've ever met. I always say to people, it's like I have two brains. There's a creative side, which is what I use to write fiction and do all kinds of other things and design my digital products. And then I have the other side, which is incredibly analytical. I'm quite techie. In my spare time, I like to mess around with software. Data is my thing in my day job. I'm a content strategist, but I'm also basically pushing and doing things with content analytics. These are the things that excite me. These are the things that I love. So what I'm trying to say to you is, so, and that's me. That's just the way I've been made. That's the way God has made me. There's a creative side, there's an analytical side. And that's okay. Those two, they exist and it works really well for me. All this to say, I really don't like chaos, right? So I think lots of people, when they think about writing a book, they think, oh, and everything needs to be chaotic. Everything needs to be chaotic. It has to be in my head. No, 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 no. Listen, I know for myself that simple things like having a tidy desk and a clean house, those things help me. If my house is untidy, if my desk is untidy, I cannot function. That's just the way that I am. And I apply the same kind of diligence and method to my writing when I'm writing a book. Okay, I always, in the first place, what I do, I take a notebook and I just basically just like writing stuff. I flesh it out. You may want to use something else. Okay, maybe you're more of a computer. It doesn't matter what you use. You can use any kind of programming language. But I always say to you, when you first have your book idea, just basically sit down and just write it. Like, what, who, if you're writing fiction, who are the main characters? If it's non-fiction, what is the premise of the book? Okay, who's your target audience? This is what so it's all about just having a structure and having a structure to your book idea. Okay, structuring your book doesn't make you less creative. Actually, it makes you more creative, because otherwise what happens is, if you don't structure your ideas, um you don't structure your ideas, or you don't structure it, or you think to yourself, maybe you're in the midst of writing a book and your idea of a great book is one, you're sitting there and you just think, oh my god, I'm going to have 5,000 characters. And actually what happens is, when you're writing fiction, if that is not structured in the right way, what you're going to have is a book of mashed up ideas and characters and plots that make no sense. In your eyes, you might be thinking to yourself, this is going to be fun for my audience. It's going to be a bit kind of chaotic and scattered and all the rest of that stuff. But actually, for them, they're reading the book and they're thinking, this does not make sense. How come this character you just basically applied and come out of nowhere? I didn't even understand the plot. So I think when it comes to like book ideas and creativity, lots of people think that it has to be chaotic. It does not have to be chaotic, okay? And I'm telling you this as a veteran of the writing and publishing industry. And it doesn't matter if you're writing fiction or non-fiction, or if you're going to be self-published or traditionally published. Your book, okay, they need to make sense. Your book idea needs to make sense. It needs to have structure. Otherwise, how would it flow? Right. So in terms of how to start writing with confidence, okay. So one of the first things that's going to help you, you need to believe in your book idea. Don't compare yourself to other people. The second thing is, you need to believe in your why. Why are you writing this book? Who is your target audience? Why does it matter to you? If you understand and hold firm to your why, it will help you get to the finish line. If your why is not strong enough, if it's actually superficial, you just want to see your name on the front cover of a book, if that's your why for wanting to write a book, it's not going to get you very far. Because what happens is, when things get tough, when things get hard, when things get challenging, as they will, because you're doing something you've never done before, which is writing a book, okay? You're just going to give up and say, oh, I don't care anyway. I wasn't it for the money. I just wanted to see if, I just wanted to see my book on my name on the front cover. Okay. And so, yeah, so that's where we are. So I hope this has helped you, in terms of, and if you've been struggling with writing with confidence, I really, really hope that this has basically given you the focus and the reassurance that you need to basically help you get started again, and also get you to the finish line. So if you're struggling in terms of writing, struggling with your first chapter, first sentence, I really, really hope that this has helped you. Once again, my name is Abidemi Sanusi. I'm an author. I'm an author and the founder of Ready Writer, where I help people much like you write better, make more, and build their own